As a mom of five, I find myself being hard on myself a lot. So I love to use makeup sometimes as my only way of getting out. There are days when I stay home for the entire day. I don't go anywhere, I don't see anyone, but I like to use makeup to play around with just to refresh myself and make me feel a little bit more done up for the day, especially in a world where there's so much negativity and so much bad stuff going on. It's refreshing to see a company bring out so much positivity in all of their products. And I just love the whole idea behind the company. So congrats to Shine Cosmetics for having such a wonderful, wonderful products and company.
Hi, I'm Jessica Dahlquist, and I'm so thrilled to be here on the I Am Mom Summit to talk about friendships, and specifically mom friendships. So many times when we set out to help our kids to adjust to a new school or a new team, we're really helping them to make friends. But how often do we think about our own ability to make friends? So that's what we're going to talk about today because I'm an expert. I'm a military wife. My husband, Pete, is a JAG. He is a JAG in the Navy, and we've moved around several times, about 6 times in the last 10 years. And every single time it has been a challenge. So I've learned a lot about making friends. Something else about me is I have 3 boys. The ages of those kiddos are 7, 5, and 2. I love being a boy mom. No, I'm not going to go for a girl. Highly unlikely I would get that anyways. But I love my family so much. I am passionate about motherhood, and I host the Extraordinary Moms podcast, where I interview different moms who share their motherhood journeys and the lessons that they've learned along the way. It has been so fun hearing from these incredible women from literally all over the world, having them share about their motherhood experience. It has been such a joy. And if you haven't already been a listener, check it out. Extraordinary Moms Podcast on iTunes or other podcast apps, or at extraordinarymomspodcast.com. We have about 200 episodes to choose from, so take your pick. So going back to the topic at hand, I'm going to be speaking about finding your people, 5 tips for making mom friends. And I consider myself an expert in this area because I have moved a lot. And some of the moves I've done really well, and some of the moves have been more of a challenge. And what I've really learned is that there's a few key things to making great mom friends and finding your tribe. It is so critical to have people in your corner as a mom and to not feel like you're doing this alone, not feel like you are alone in your struggles, to have names to write down on your emergency release forms for your kids at school, to call when you need a cup of baking soda. Well, not a cup of flour, teaspoon of baking soda. Those would be messed up cookies. It's important to have friends. You don't have to have 500 friends. It really just starts with one. And different people, go for different things. Sometimes they're more about the 1 or 2 really close friends. Some people really like having a lot of friends. It depends on your personality. But these basic tips I'm going to give you today are whether you've recently moved to an area and you're looking to connect, or perhaps you're living in an area that you've been in a while, but you're really struggling to connect with women, to find like-minded people, or people that add value to your life and challenge you in different ways. Perhaps, you're ready to move on in a different season of your life and you're looking for new people to come alongside you. So this is for everybody. Okay, so 5 tips. The first tip is mindset is everything. Among all the 6 moves that we've done, there are some moves that went really well and some moves that didn't go so well. And do you know what the main reason that the moves that didn't go well, what the reason was? My mindset. So we were living in San Diego, where I'm from, and my husband decided to join the military at that point to become an attorney. And I was super bummed because I loved my life. It was where my family is. I had great friends. My kids were plugged in. And I was so sad to leave that life and move all the way across the country to Virginia, where the Navy was sending us. So I was resentful. And there's nothing I could do about the move. And so I get there, and I have a super bad attitude about it. Don't you think people are just flocking to me with a bad attitude? No. I mean, there were a few people that reached out that were so kind and are friends to this day. But I didn't do myself any great service by thinking, I don't want to be here. They all have friends already. I don't want to do this. I don't want to make new friends. I want my old life. when that was my focus, I was unable to move forward in a positive direction and develop new relationships. So I really had to stop sabotaging myself and seek out a more positive outlook so that I could make friends. So first, identify what kinds of thoughts are you thinking about friendships. Are you thinking that everyone already has somebody and you don't fit in, or you're not good enough, or it's too much work, or you don't know how to find people? If that's the case, that's where you're going to stay. But if you shift your mindset into, look at all these people all around me that I have the chance to meet and learn from and have their value added to my life, I mean, that's pretty awesome. And now I do not regret a single place we've ever lived because of the people I have met and the way they have impacted my life and taught me so much. And this last move, when we moved from Virginia back to Southern California, I don't live in San Diego. I don't have, I didn't re-enter my old life that I wanted back. I had to start over again. But man, when I did it with open arms, with a positive outlook, that learning curve and that time of transition shrunk dramatically when I was willing to think positively. The second thing is, be friendly before you have friends. I remember when we moved here last year, we moved in New Year's weekend, we all got hit with the flu. Every last one of us. It was miserable. And even more than the actual violent, it was feeling like nobody even knew we existed. We didn't have anyone to call on to go run to the store for us and get a new loaf of bread or a thing of Sprite. It felt really lonely and isolating. And so I knew as soon as we got over that stomach bug, I had to get to work finding my people. So I identified one person that seemed like they might be my person, at church. And I thought, okay, we have kids the same age. Let's do a play date. And she invited me over. We had a great play date and it was awesome. But really, even before you have connections with people that might become your tribe, be friendly before you have friends. I was friendly and smiling to the checker at the checkout counter. I was smiling and saying hi and good morning to the person at the crosswalk at my kids' school. I was really just trying to send out that positivity into the world so that it would come back to me. And it did. So treat everyone as if they're already your friend. And some of those people might actually end up becoming your friend. And who doesn't want a positive person in their life? So be that person and be friendly with them before even they're your official friend. The next thing is, create the invitation you would like to receive. Nobody's probably going to come knocking down your door when you have the flu if they don't even know that you just moved in, right? And you might hear of invitations and parties going on and girls' nights, and you might feel jealous as you see those things happening online and whatnot. Create it. Create it. Whether it's a simple one-on-one lunch with a friend or a park play date, or for me, I throw something every year called a Hardy Party. I do it around Valentine's Day. I've done it everywhere I've ever lived. I invite tons of people. It's just kind of an open house brunch style. I get half the stuff at the grocery store and bake a few things because I like to bake. I put out some festive napkins and Valentine's plates, and I invite a whole lot of people. People that have kids at home during the day are welcome to come and play with my kids' toys and play in the backyard, and we just chat. And the funny thing is, last year I had just moved in. Like I said, I did that one-on-one play date with a friend that turned out to be a wonderful connection for me. And I said, hey, I want to do this in about a month, but I don't have any friends. But I like you, and chances are the people that are your friends could be my friends. So would you write the invite list for me? So literally, she wrote my invitation list for me. I sent out the evite to 30 people I did not know and who did not know me, and they came. And we had a great time, and they got to know me. They got to just see Jessica's door is always open. They got to get a feel for what type of friend I would be to them. And it was such a great experience. And from that day on, I at least had 30 acquaintances. And then from there, I was able to really hone in on the people that I clicked with the most, whose schedules had a lot in common with mine, whose kids had stuff in common with mine. And those became my inner circle. But I dare you to just open your door. It does not have to be fancy. It does not have to be perfect. You don't even have to have enough chairs for everybody. People want to stand and mill about and have a few yummy treats. So I challenge you to create the invitation that you would want to receive. Number 4 is highlighting and complimenting the strengths of other people. People love to be seen. People love to feel valued. So what if you notice that hot mom at the park with the banging legs and you're like, wow, you have nice legs. What do you do? Instead of just like looking at her like, my body look like that. So for the person that is really into fitness and is knowledgeable, go up to them and say, hey, you have great legs. What do you do? Oh, you go running at 6 a.m. every morning? I'm looking for a running buddy. Could we try it together? Boom, friendship, right? It doesn't mean it has to stick forever, but being bold and stepping out into things where you think that person can add value to your life and really complimenting them instead of just thinking, wow, they have great legs. Tell them. I mean, chances are they know they have great legs, but how good does it feel to be called out for something that you've worked hard at? You know, if you make a great plate of brownies and that's like your go-to thing and you bring it to a potluck and somebody compliments you about it, it feels so good. So whether it is complimenting them right then in the moment, or whether it's following up with a text or an email or a snail mail note, I do that weekly, thinking about people that have positively impacted my life or added value in some way, or a thank you of some kind. I write notes and send them in the actual mailbox every single week to people. And it's a way of staying connected to the friends I've had a long time that I don't live by anymore. And it's a way to cultivate new friendships because people love to feel seen. So don't just think the kind thing, say the kind thing. And that will endear you to them. And they'll be much more likely to see you and your value as well. And the last thing is number 5, maybe the friendship is not always about you. This last move, this is something that I've really come to think a lot about. Moving every 2 years is really challenging. And however, even though I didn't want to move to Virginia originally, the move right before this one, I do not regret it now. I met the most amazing people. I had great experiences. I learned so much from them about myself, all kinds of things, and I would not trade it. And so going into this move, I really thought, what if this is not about me? What if we are in this specific place for this specific season for somebody else, for us to add value to this community or to a certain person's life or a certain family's life? Sure, I'm sure that I will also take in so much value from the people around me. But when we view it outside of ourselves, that friendships are not just for us. It's not just for people to meet our needs. It's for us to meet the needs of others. Shortly after my son started school, he made really good friends with a little boy in his class. This little boy was also the new kid. He'd moved in about a month previous to us. So they kind of bonded over that and sports, and just a darling, darling little boy. Well, come to find out, there was a very tragic story surrounding this little boy's family. And we are suddenly in this family's life as these 2 little boys have bonded so well in their class. And I thought immediately, maybe this is why we're here. You know, sure, I wanted to head back to San Diego. Sure, I miss my old life, you know, whatever version that is. And you may have that feeling as well. But when I thought of it in terms of maybe we're here to support this family. Maybe we're here to help with rides. Maybe we're here to offer support. Maybe we're here to love this family. And sure enough, as we have kind of filled in that role and been there for this family, not only have I felt good about what I've been able to do for them, but golly, is this a special family to me. And they have taught me so much. And I just adore them. And this is a lifelong friendship now with the whole family that we have. And so regardless of how long we live here, I know without a shadow of a doubt that this is where we're supposed to be in this season, meeting not only this family, but other families in our area that we can really make an impact on and serve for a season. This is not our last move. And that's hard and annoying, and it makes it hard to want to, plant and set roots down. But when you view it for every season has its purpose, you're not sad necessarily about relationships that move on or moves that you have to make and new friends that you have to generate. It just becomes a positive experience where you never are done meeting the people that you are supposed to meet that can impact you for good. And so I just think friendships are such an important part of motherhood. As we teach our kids about good social skills and the skills needed to make friends and be friendly and things like that, it starts with us. They're watching how we do it. Are we sad and isolated and lonely and not doing a thing about it? Or are we proactive in seeking out good relationships and deepening those relationships? When we're doing that and when we are modeling it for our kids, they are much more likely to do it in their own lives as well. So just a reminder of those 5 tips that I mentioned. Number 1, mindset is everything. A positive mindset about friendship will attract people to you. Secondly, be friendly before you have friends. Act as if every single person you encounter is a friend of yours. It will make their day, whether it's short term and you have little interaction going forward, or whether it becomes a regular, deeper friendship. That doesn't matter. What matters is that they felt seen and good that day because you were friendly towards them. The third thing is create the invitation that you would love to receive. Do it on your own terms, whether it's a one-on-one lunch or park play date, or whether it's a hearty party with 30 people. Do whatever you're comfortable with, but don't wait for someone to knock on your door. Reach out and see how you can get involved in the lives of others by opening yourself up. Fourth, highlight and compliment the strengths of others and learn from them. If there's a mom that threw the best birthday party you've ever seen and you're not good at that, don't be jealous. Ask them to help you. And if they love it as much as it seems like they do, chances are they'd be very happy to impart their wisdom and feel valued in that skill. And the last thing is, don't view friendship just in terms of what it adds to your life. Think about what it can add to theirs. And ultimately, if you are trying to be the friend that you would want to find in a new community, or even in a community that you lived in for a long time, but somebody new is crossing your path, when you are that friend will find you as well. So I want to thank you for tuning in to the I Am Mom Summit today. It was so fun chatting with you about friendships. If you want to check out the Extraordinary Moms podcast, I would love to have you on board. It is such a fun community. You can follow me on Instagram at Jessica Dahlquist 3 or on Facebook at Extraordinary Moms Podcast. And the podcast website is extraordinarymomspodcast.com. I challenge you to look at your friendships that you currently have and step outside your comfort zone to either seek out new friendships or deepen the ones that you have. Have an awesome day, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of the conference.